Today we have a 2011 Mercedes GLK. We're going to show you how to get this stereo out of the dash. This one can be a little tricky. We're going to start with the panel that's above the car stereo with the AC vents, the emergency flashers, and airbag sensor. We're going to start at the very top. There is a little seam in the back here that we can get our pry tool in and hopefully get it to the top edge to release. Here we go. Work our way across. Try a little finger pressure. That gets us part of the way out. We're going to put our pry tool in on the left side and on the right side. Back over in on the left side here to try and pry this panel loose. The bottom can be difficult. We have seen taking these panels off as well, a little plastic piece pop out because you break the bottom on this, but in most cases this panel will go back in and sit right in place even with that little tabs broken. There we go, we got the top ones released. We're going to wiggle this loose, pull this out. We're out at one of the lots where they can clear any codes we put in the car. There is a connector right here going to, like I mentioned, the airbag, the emergency flashers, and so on. And once we disconnect this, there's a possibility of it throwing a false signal to the computer and having the airbag sensor light stay on. But again, we're out at a shop where they can decode that and unlock it. If you don't have that, if you're not able to do that, it's best just to leave this piece in the dash somewhat loose while it's connected. The reason for removing the AC vents here is the car stereo. The edges of this panel above the car stereo go behind this front panel. So we're going to set the AC vents to the side. And with our pry tool, we're going to go to this little panel across the top of the car stereo. We're going to start at both sides at the little tabs that are hidden behind the original panel above here. Let's see if we can pop this little panel out. There we go. That will loosen this panel. Now what this is going to do is give access to two screws, one on the left here, it looks like a Phillips, a Torx, and one on the right here, which is a Torx as well. Let's see what the value of this is. And this will be a T20. And we're going to remove this screw on the left side. Pull that from the car stereo. Remove the one on the right. These again are both T20 Torx screws. Now we have two little metal pieces that are secured here by these screws. Okay, now we're to the tricky part on the removal after removing the screws. Is back in the back here, way over on the sides, is a little piece of plastic that goes like this shape.
Directly above the screw.
In the back, and we want to find this tab, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull this tab up. It's pushed down, and you can usually get your fingernail under the edge of it. It'll pull up probably about the thickness of your pinky. There's one on the right, there's one here on the left as well. And these can be somewhat difficult to locate, but they do pull up. Now, to show a clearer picture how these tabs pull up, we're going to attempt to place a mirror in through the opening so you can see the back here of what we're looking at here. And if we get closer in the mirror, these tabs, as you reach in through the front, are going to be back over here, right down in this area right here. Now what we're going to do with this little tab is pull it up like I mentioned. I don't know if you can see it, it's in the down position now, and with our finger we can pull this up and it lifts. And now this is in the up position right here, and in the down position here. And again, we're trying to lift this little tab up on the right side. This is the up position, and we're going to repeat that here for the left side as well. And we got the tab in the back here that we're going to lift up, and that'll be up. I don't know if you heard that, but the right one just snapped up. It's probably got the thickness of your whole finger can fit under it at this angle because it loops over this way. Same on the left side, there's a bracket that goes down, and we're going to get under and lift it up, and your finger will fit under it. It seems to be plastic, and the right one did pop when it snapped all the way up. See if we can do the same for the one on the left here. That one is all the way up. I can fit my finger under it, but it did not pop like the right one did. And what we're going to do is remove the car stereo. We may also have this panel pop off while removal, but usually it's part of the face of the original stereo. Let's see if we can wiggle this loose. There we go. Now we're going to get the radio loose. We're going to set the parking brake. Remove the shifter back, pull the stereo out, and remove the connectors. We have the main connector for the upper display. This connector you just wiggle loose and pull back on gently, and this will release. It's just a pinch fit and will go back in properly. Now we have the car stereo pulled from the dash. There are several antenna connections, blue, white, green, and one main connector over here on the side. Now all these antenna connections have a little trigger on the bottom of that. If you squeeze this trigger down into the connector, it lifts a latch and allows you to wiggle these connectors loose. Now this connector, the latch here again, when you push down on this back piece here, this lifts the lock and allows you to wiggle the connector loose. The white one has one here as well. We're going to push that trigger down and wiggle that connector loose. These are all color coded, so there's no need to label these as to where they go. They fit back to the same colors. The green has one as well here on the back. We're going to push that down and wiggle that connector loose. And the remaining main connector here is a little tricky here. It has an arm that goes around the connector, and this arm pulls the connector into the stereo and also releases it. But there's a little trigger here at the bottom, and you have to push this trigger down, and as you push that down, pull out on the arm, and the arm will lift out and away and push the connector out. Now in order to put this connector back into the radio, it has to be in the unlocked position. This is the locked position when it's in place. To release it, you push the little trigger down here and lift the arm up and around. This arm has to be in the up position in order to push this connector in to get it started. Once it gets started, the connector, you see, will start pushing it down, and we lock it back in place. Hope this video has been helpful. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching.